I'm the first Neuralink patient. This is my first time really streaming on my own. It's kind of crazy. This is where I go for all sorts of things. This is Eve, my implant. It's already changed my life as far as that goes, and it's only going to keep getting better. The Link app, learning what my brain signals, like learning to map my brain signals. They're trying to give me complete control of it now, and this has given me a lot of ability to play these games and to learn. Before I was having to do this in the most suboptimal way, I think, in the world. So I sit here and play this kind of nonstop sometimes. There's nothing bad that I can say about this whole process. I really have just been having the best time of my life. My name's Noland. I'm the first Neuralink patient. This is the Link app. The Link app is how I am able to control this computer. Everything is through this. This is where I do all of the daily tasks that I do with the team. This is the hub for everything. I imagine this is how, for the future, when implants are in more people, or just with me, I guess, this Link app will be put on other devices, say phones or other things. Everyone would have this app, and it would make those devices compatible with the Neuralink. So it's pretty cool. So right here, these are like all the devices that this is connected to, that the Neuralink is connected to. This is Eve, my implant, which I named. The other two things are the chargers for my implant. This is the calibrate section. The calibration is something that I do in order to give me control of the cursor. Basically, it's the process of the Link app learning what my brain signals, like learning to map my brain signals and like keyboard control. So I would go into the calibration, I would do that, and then I would get the control that I have right now with the cursor. That started out, basically version 1 was a lot different than where it's at now. It's been a lot of trial and error, but it's been a pretty cool learning process. And at this point, I'm able to do it basically completely on my own. Before, I would be doing it in sessions with the Neuralink people, and they would have to run the whole thing, and we tried out 100 different ways of doing it. This is not, I would say, the best model that I've ever had. The model is whatever the cursor control is that I have when I come out. It will update throughout the process, and it'll be a lot better with more time. And the longer I stay in the calibration, generally the better it'll become. So I can stay in there for 30 minutes, an hour or more if I wanted to. And hopefully the cursor control would get even better. I also can do what we call like body mapping. This one is like right arm pushes. So you'll see like a right arm on screen, and I will follow the visual to map what my intention is, and they tell me what they want me to do basically, and I'm doing it. And so they know what certain neurons are like firing and being mapped to certain parts of, like certain intentions, parts of my brain. So that's pretty cool. I do that a lot. I think right now we're working on like some handwriting stuff, or like finger spelling, like sign language, which is pretty cool. Then I have this research tab, which is one of my favorite things to do. This is one of the games that we use as a benchmark across all, BCI. This is WebGrid. It's one of my favorite games to play. They are surprised at how much I sit around and do this just on my own. It is addicting. This number over here will climb as I get more targets for every minute. This is basically, see the red when I miss. This is basically how we test if the model is very good. This number goes up basically as high as we want it to, but I think I use like a 35 is like the highest we go. Anything over than that isn't super great. The targets are pretty small. But yeah, so I will do this and I'll play it for hours at a time sometimes. This is actually how BCI is evaluated across all people. This is what the scientific community uses in order to measure how good a given product or how good, those sorts of things are. People before the Neuralink were playing this game as well, and they had certain records in this game. I think that record was like 4 point something at that time. I think I broke that on my first day doing this, and then like every day after that I broke it a couple more times. Right now I'm up to, I think 8 is the record, and I'm pretty sure that's the world record. Actually, that is the world record. So I'll do this basically in session with the team for however long they want, whatever they can do to learn. Ooh, Nelly. I think the record at the Neuralink office is around 18, which is a ridiculous number. On average, I would say the people at Neuralink can manage about 10 BPS, which is bits per second. And I am not quite there yet. Like I said, I just got to 8. Oh, well, that was just like talking right there. That was over the previous world record. So, like before Neuralink started, which is super impressive. I love how, there's a numerical, like, progress to be made in all of this. It's super fun to just keep testing myself, to keep pushing. And yeah, I think 8 is not the best I can do. I think that is just where I'm at right now. Again, this model's not the best model I've ever had, and I could definitely do things that would make it better. And I'm sure if I did that, I would be able to break the record again, maybe even this coming week. And who knows, maybe the people that come after me will break it on day 1 as well. That would be awesome. I would not mind that at all. Then we go into this gaming tab over here, which is pretty cool. This is how it's what they're working on right now and how I am going to be able to play games on different devices. So right now we were using it to play Mario Kart. When I played Mario Kart in the video that I'm sure most of y'all have seen, it was a bit different. They're trying to give me complete control of it now. That was more assisted with their help. Now they're making this whole thing for me, and I will be able to connect to games on my own and play as much as I want, which I am very grateful for, because that's going to be awesome. So yeah, this is the Link app. It's pretty cool. I think it is going to keep getting better. We are continuing to learn things and continuing to improve. There are constant updates to this, and it can only get better, honestly. So yeah, let's move on a bit. This is basically what I can do on a daily basis as far as like what I do in my off time when I'm just kind of waiting around. I will come and play this. I'll play this over here. This is the snake game. It is a lot of fun. I will just sit here and, just play around for a while. It is not easy. I'm really bad at it, actually. It's not something that I do because I'm super good. It's something I do because it kind of gives me an idea of how good the model is. If I can do certain things, if I can make sharp turns, if I can avoid people in this game, then I know that my cursor control is actually pretty good. Right now, it's not, the best I've ever seen it, but knowing that, I can go in and try to do, something to make it better. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. I sit here and play this kind of non-stop sometimes, just while I'm waiting. It's addicting and it's easy, and I don't mind one bit just sitting around doing this. So yeah, and I'll just kill myself and we can move on. Okay, and then I do stuff like this. I've been learning Japanese. Wanikani is one of my favorite sites to use. It is how I've been learning kanji. It's so much fun, and I really enjoy it. I love learning languages, and Japanese is something that I've really taken an interest in the last few years. I'm sure a lot of people have. It's becoming kind of a hub of pop culture, which is super cool. This has given me a lot of ability to play these games and to learn. Before I was having to do this in the most suboptimal way, I think, in the world. So yeah, it's already changed my life as far as that goes, and it's only going to keep getting better. This is a game I'm playing actually right now with one of the Neuralink employees. He's been kicking my butt generally, so it's cool that I can come on here and, play with him whenever I want. I don't know what I'm going to do in this game. I think he's going to kick my butt, honestly, and someone's probably going to pull this game and tear it apart. They already have been. I know that I'm not very good. No need to tell me twice. Let's see, what else? I don't know if you guys can tell. My cursor control is not as fast as I would want it to be. It's kind of not as smooth as I would want it to be. So there are a couple things I can do. One is this mixer, which they've given me control of. At the beginning, I would basically have to ask them for all sorts of help. If something was wrong, I could like have to wait around or just deal with it or just not use it at all. Now I have this little mixer, and what this does is gives me a bit more control over how this cursor interfaces. So the gain right here is basically speed. So I'm at 2.4 right now. If I keep going up, this cursor is just going to get faster and faster, which I am a fan of. It'll help me move across the screen a lot easier. The friction down there at the bottom is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's friction. Keeps it slower, maybe keeps me over targets a bit better. And so I'll turn that down because I feel like it's slowing me down a little. There we go. Okay, this moves a bit better now. Yeah, don't know what I'm going to do here either, honestly. I think I had a plan, something like that. It was either, I think it was something like this. I'll probably come here. You could almost certainly just come here, maybe go here. Maybe that'll work, or I could just go here to begin with. Let's find out. Okay, so that's that. I also do daily devotional, and that's here. I can do all sorts of other things. I could open up a new tab and, you know, search around. Obviously, it's the internet. We all can see that. This is also where I can show you my keyboard. So my keyboard is just something that they've given me recently too. Obviously, y'all know what a keyboard is. And I just push down into the bottom of the screen, it pops up. I had them add in this feature where it will make smaller whatever screen I am using, because before it was popping up and it would be over the screen. And so I needed it for something where I could use it while I was trying to type something. That's really nifty. Also reading right now. I'm using this to reading Sherlock Holmes right now, I guess. I was reading MASH before, I think last time, and now I'm doing this. So all that said and done, I think I can show you guys a little bit of a game. This is probably something that I will be doing in the future. If anyone is interested, I will hop on at some point and play some games and talk through this. I would love to be able to chat with other people while I'm doing this. I'd love to play some games with my friends while I'm doing these sorts of things, live streams. So I want to show you guys a little bit of this. All right, show you guys my setup too, because I do this maybe a bit differently than other people. Something like that, because I want you guys to not think I'm terrible. I'll go king, and continents is fine. Advanced setup, I'm a cheater. If you've watched the show and tell, they talk about cursor drift being a problem that they're trying to solve. There is a bias in the cursor sometimes. And what that means is if I just kind of want to stay centered or I want to click something, it's going to drift in one of these directions. That was a big issue that we were having at the beginning until they developed what they call bias correction. They're still in the early stages of bias correction. They are figuring out different ways they can make it work. Basically what it is that if I feel the cursor, say, pulling to the left every time I go to stop and click something, I will just come over here and push into the side of the screen and it will correct. Yeah, so what I'm doing here too is like I keep moving it around. That's just me constantly like moving it on my own. I can stay still if I want to. It's probably just a nervous habit, like me trying to keep moving it. That'll change at some point. Like I said, I've never done this, so I'm very nervous about like how this is coming across, if I'm saying all the right things. I feel like I've skipped over basically 100 things at this point. Yeah. So there is a bias to the right now. So I'm going to keep pushing into the right side of the screen to hopefully fix it. It's a bit of an inconvenience right now. We're working to fix this, but there is a mode switcher over here, which lets me switch this cursor from a left click, right click, drag, and then a hover, and then the mixer was that thing I showed you guys earlier. This is also, like I said, the first of hopefully many streams that I do. And as I get better at this, as I get better equipment, as I get this down, I really have no idea what I'm doing at this point. I will be able to answer a lot more questions. I'm planning on doing like an AMA at some point and answering a bunch of questions then too. I already had basically my first big interview, and that is by Ashley Vance, and he will be releasing that on the 16th, I believe. So look forward to that. And then outside of that, I think after that interview comes out, I'll start doing a lot more appearances and doing a lot more interviews and stuff. So y'all will definitely get to learn a lot more about this whole process, about, you know, where I'm from, how I got into this, stuff about my accident, just all sorts of stuff. Any questions y'all have, hopefully I'll be able to answer at that point. Don't know if y'all saw, I dropped a line to Joe Rogan on my ex. I'm hoping that happens. That would be freaking sick. I love listening to that guy. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but if you don't, shame on you. He's awesome. I hope that happens at some point. So yeah, that's that. I mean, I could keep showing you guys this if you want to. I can also show you some other games. Just kind of give you an idea of like what it's like to play these games with the Neuralink, which is just, as you can see, it's already super freaking impressive. The reason why, like in some of my other interviews, I've talked about playing it for like 6 hours straight is because it could take, maybe 4 or 5 hours to win, or it could take something like 10 plus hours to win. I'll show you guys something else too. I love Slay the Spire 2. I'm so happy I can play this game. It was one of the few games that I was actually able to play before the Neuralink. I would play on my iPad with a mouth stick. I don't know if you guys know what a mouth stick is. It's basically just a stick that you hold in your mouth. So this game is a deck builder. You basically climb. It's a dungeon crawler, sort of a level climber. So you climb floors in this game, and every floor that you climb, you get to add stuff to your deck, add cards to your deck. You get to do different things, and you just build a really good deck, and you try to make it through all of the levels. And that's about it. It's pretty simple. So this is it. Cards, you play cards, and you do things. That's it. This deals 6 damage. You use it to attack the enemy, and not much else to it. Oh boy. I'm going to keep bias correcting because this bias is still in here. And I have to keep just hopping in and hopping out of this because I can't actually push into the wall. Because once I push into the wall, it sends me into this little menu. Again, they're working on it. It will probably not be like this in a couple more days. You guys just happen to fall into a time where we had it, because we're giving me a lot more control over the cursor. All of these little menus are new. This click, the right click, the drag, the hover, the mix, that's all like the last couple of days stuff, because we are just learning at like, lightning pace. We just learn so much every day, and they're constantly trying new things to see what works. I am basically just here as a tester. I'm trying to show them like what is good and what isn't good, what works and what doesn't work, and try to give as much detailed feedback as I can and try to help this for all of the people that come after me. Hopefully what I'm doing here helps. So yeah. You guys know what Polytopia is? I just recently started playing this game. I used to play it on my iPad, but I had to restart everything once I started doing this, which is fine with me. It's a lot of fun to start over. I'm also terrible at this game. Kind of just want to show you guys like how awesome this thing is, how capable I am of playing these games now, just a couple months into this. It's impressive that we're already this far into this game, into this study. Like, there's so much potential for this. It's going to be amazing. Let's go back now. Just wanted to show you guys like a few different things that I'm able to do. That's about it. Also RuneScape. I think I'm going to save that for another day. Leave you guys wanting more. There's a lot more to be done with this. There's so much that this can grow. There's so much that I'm looking forward to and being part of this study. I'm also looking forward to doing a lot more with the community, with interviews, with, talking just about where I've come from and how I got here, and the implications of this technology. Like, I've been thrust into all of this, but I'm so excited. I'm so blessed to be a part of it. I think that it's only going to grow at an exponential pace at this point. And I don't know. There's nothing bad that I can say about this whole process. I really have just been having the best time of my life. I think it's only going to get better from here on out. Not only my streaming, but also the implant Neuralink. Like, I am just the first, and there are going to be so many more after me who are doing things that I still can't even imagine. So yeah, man, I think that's about it, guys. Wish I could say something cool to end this, but I think that's about it. And I don't know when I'll do this again. Maybe sometime this week, maybe next week. Just kind of depends on what kind of reception this gets. I'm not looking to become like a full-time streamer or anything. If something like that is what the community wants, then I might consider it a bit more. But at this point, I'm just trying my hardest in the study, working as much as I can. And I'd like to help you guys out, bring you guys into the process as much as possible. So yeah, cursor on. I guess that's about it. And I'll talk to you guys later.